Hello.
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 Let's go!
Hey, kids.
Hey, Dad.
War crimes will be prosecuted.
Let's have a Liberty City, burn it to the ground.
Does the word mean anything to you?
Yeah, I chose this profession, so therefore I earn beer.
You want to go to the matinee?
The feeling is definitely there.
You don't know my name!
It's a new morning in America.
This is the old dude, Howard J. Reynolds. Step into my office.
Not gonna be too many punks.
Don't you stop worrying about the punk?
Fuck you. That's my name.
Yeah, let's go to the punk rock show.
Introducing for your listening pleasure.
Hi, and welcome to the High Fives Punk Rock Podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I'm here with Justin. Hey, Justin, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Mike. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Third time's a charm, right? We've been trying to record this podcast for a few days, and we've just had a bunch of technical difficulties.
Yeah, we've fallen off a couple times, but we are here. We're doing it. We're bringing the good stuff to the good people.
Yeah, it's stuff.
Well,
I don't know if
we're
it's good
bringing
stuff.
the stuff to the okay people.
Sure, we'll go with that. That should be our brand. Okay stuff for okay people. We're half-assing it all the time. Half-assing it 100% of the time.
That's right, yeah.
What's new? Anything new and exciting since last time we talked?
No, but we're already, to almost the end of March. It's crazy how fast the year has gone by. We're at the end of the first fiscal quarter of 2025.
Well, that sounds very professional.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to respond to that, but yes, I guess we are at the next fiscal quarter. We don't have a fiscal budget here, though, so maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe we should have one.
We should. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know where the money's going. This is going to end up like gel.
I was going to say, I'm like, don't worry, I'm not spending it on OnlyFans.
So definitely not my OnlyFans. I haven't seen a dime come in.
No, mine either. It's sad, lonely days on the OnlyFans site for myself. I know you went and saw David Cross. How was the David Cross show?
David Cross was great. He, I haven't listened to a lot of his stand-up since, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, and his delivery is great, his storytelling is great, his ability to weave in like a long format story with a couple quick punchlines is awesome. So yeah, it was a great show. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. We have a new prime minister. That's kind of big, I guess, eh?
We do.
And by the time this episode comes out,
he might not be the prime minister.
we'll see what happens. So many wasted fuck Trudeau shirts now. What was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, it's just that it's weird times. I've been watching Community a lot again as my nightly decompress show, and I forgot about the Darkest Timeline episodes, and this all feels like we might be in some sort of weird Darkest Timeline with like a country trying to annex us or take us or whatever they want to do with us. I don't even know what's going on anymore, but there's that whole thing. We get to say elbows up now, which is like a hockey thing.
Yeah, I love how that became a thing.
Yeah. Nationalism. Although Canadian nationalism is kind of weird. It's like always like, it doesn't feel the same as like other nationalisms.
What I do enjoy about this is that the Canada flag, I think, finally has meaning again. Because without a doubt, we lost that through COVID because it was just like
It took on an entirely different meaning.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, it was definitely tainted.
Yeah, like I'm not like a staunch nationalist or anything like that, but I'm pretty proud to be Canadian. I think maybe coming from immigrant families, you get that too a little bit. And like, I don't know, it was pretty disheartening to see like when you saw a Canadian flag on someone's lawn or on their sticker on a car or someone wearing it, you're just like, oh, I know what kind of person that is. And now we're back to being like, oh yeah, we're all the same here. It's all good.
Yeah.
So one positive.
Great to have the flag back. Yeah.
I guess we can talk about this episode because we're almost at the end of doing the years things. So it's like 0809, which we agreed to stop at 2010 as the last year episode, and then you have to start thinking more than just.
I know. Then pressure's really on because we're gonna have to come up some actual material.
Yeah, you can do it. Do you remember anything about 08 or no? 08 or 09?
Well, I did some fairly extensive research, and I'm sure you have your own list. And I was, I'll let you sort of take the lead on hitting the highlights.
Oh, I didn't do any research.
Oh no, okay. Well, I'll take the lead on doing the doing the highlights. From a news perspective, I think that global financial crisis. You might remember that one.
You're really trying to make this a finance podcast now, aren't you?
That's right. Get all my fintech bros.
Sorry, go ahead.
No more Bing. We're going to be sponsored by the Cybertruck. I haven't been paying attention. That's still cool, right?
Oh yeah, it's totally cool. It was like the coolest thing ever. Real cool guys.
The economy melted down, and we had the worst thing happen since the Great Depression. And that's wild that was, I guess, Yeah, did you ever watch The Big Short?
Yes, I did. It was good.
With Steve Carell and the guy who I really like.
That guy.
Batman. Christian Bale.
The guy I really like. Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. It was such a great explanation on a fairly complex thing. And it's one of those things where you see the movie and it's, I think, in principle at least, accurate. And you're like, man, how the fuck did we let this happen? How did nobody... Well,
are you not listening to the news these days?
Yeah, okay. That's very fair. Here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, fool me once, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, pretty shitty. But I did know that I think Obama was president during this time.
Yeah, he got elected in 2008.
So that was kind of like cool, and it seemed like things were going to turn around, right?
Yeah, it took a little while, but
then it just made more people angry because people weren't comfortable with someone being of a different ethnicity running the country, I guess. So, backward steps.
Yeah.
I didn't really look up anything. I was trying to think about like us at that time. We were kind of growing up, and I know you and me were DJing together at this time.
We were, yeah. It was great. I think we were in like almost full-blown adults, but not quite.
Yeah. I think we DJed some weddings. Maybe a person wanted to fight me for not playing Asia, the band.
the second most popular Asia song, which
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
What else? I thought, like, I was looking at the music stuff, and I think, again, music was hitting a good stride where every genre was kind of good again. There's a lot of cool stuff coming out. There was a lot of indie pop stuff that was, like, interesting again. I know, like, Listomania came out, which is, like, still maybe one of my favorite, like, pop songs.
Yeah, the Phoenix album. That one's good.
And Taylor Swift. I think this is when Taylor Swift really started hitting her stride.
Yeah, this is when, like, her first, like, big album, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's about it for the year stuff. I didn't really look at other news stuff other than, I don't know if you did.
Well, I think the recession sort of...
You just got excited about the recession?
Michael Jackson died in 2009.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's a weird thing. I don't know if we should go into it, but he kind of gets a pass. Like, we boycott a lot of music, but a lot of people are like, man, it's Michael Jackson. But he did arguably some pretty terrible things. Like...
Yeah, some would say the worst things.
Yeah. And people are like, yeah, but Thriller. Billie Jean's a good song.
There's a weird pass for Michael Jackson. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it either. I know my sister always gets mad if she hears a song on the radio. And I'm just like, I guess. But no one ever stopped playing Michael Jackson songs. Like, people actively stop playing other bands. But they're like,
yeah,
he's just got a weird pass. But... That's a different podcast that I don't want to get involved in.
Bitcoin went live in 2009.
Really? Like that early?
Yeah, that early. Again, I think I first heard about it in like 2013 or something like that.
Weird. I
remember it hit $100, and I had an argument with my boss at the time, and he was just like, "This isn't real." I'm like, "Well, currency isn't real either. Like, it's not. We're all just moving numbers around."
Well, I still don't understand it.
And then the movies were weird. I'm going to list you 5 movies that all came out in the same year, and mentally I can't make sense of these coming out at the same time, but it was The Dark Knight, Iron Man, Slumdog Millionaire, WALL-E, and Twilight. And it just seems like they're not from the same period.
They can't, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Slumdog I would have thought was way older.
Yeah, same with Iron Man. Like, I would have thought that was a lot older. Dark Knight feels newer than that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe because Dark Knight kind of holds up a little bit better. I haven't seen. I assume Slumdog
Yeah.
holds up, but it's not like a movie you need to see more than like once. What was the other one?
Yeah.
Twilight.
Twilight. I guess it was never on my radar, so it doesn't
Don't lie.
really land with the
You're
time
such a
spot.
liar. I can see that Robert Pattinson poster in the back there. Don't pretend like you don't like.
damn, I thought I took it down.
Only one. You left one up. He left one of them up. You got most
Well,
of them.
I got the other 4. Breaking Bad started in 2008.
Oh,
My favorite TV show.
it is a good show. I still have never seen Better Call Saul.
It's worth the watch. It's a slow burn, but it's really good.
Breaking Bad's kind of a slow burn too.
hmm
I should watch it again.
And as you alluded to, Community and Parks and Rec both started in 2009.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Community doesn't feel that old when you're watching it, other than maybe Joel McHale's hair. Like, it looks very of the time.
I've slept on both these shows. I haven't seen.
You've never seen Community?
I've watched snippets here and there, and maybe like a couple seasons of Parks and Rec, and that's it.
Parks and Rec is okay. I mean, Parks and Rec I can watch on like if it's on, and you're flicking and you stop an episode. It's good. Like the episodes are really good. I didn't love it the same way that a lot of people do, but Community I love. Like, I'm surprised you never saw it. Community's right up your alley too.
Yeah, it's like Always Sunny, which I do like, and I've watched 5-ish seasons off. But everyone I talk to is like, you should love that show, and I'm like, yeah, I just never made time for it.
That's
I
just
don't
because
know
you're
why.
a lot like Dennis. Well, not really, but you're not a narcissist, but your humor isn't similar. And the way you cut into people is, specifically me.
Come
I'm
on
holding
now.
some resentment there. Well, that's interesting about the Community thing, because I feel like you should watch it. It's on Paramount if you have Paramount. Does anybody have Paramount?
Nope,
Probably
not until
not.
they sponsor.
That's a good point. Good point. Paramount, we're looking for a sponsor. Since we're closing out on the years, I was going to shift topics again, and I thought I'd ask you some more questions, one of which is a topic that people have mentioned they want us to do, but I will never do. So, Justin, what is a song that is short, like the 30-second variety, or let's say even a minute, that you love? So we're talking like short music for short people. People have asked me to do this, or us to do this episode for a long time. I refuse to do it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna source from one album, really, and I think it's from. So I would probably go with the No Use for a Name song off the short music comp.
Sarah Fisher?
Sarah Fisher, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
It is a
doesn't
great
need to
song.
be- it's just a good little riff.
There are some great songs on that thing. Like, there are fun, but I just couldn't imagine doing a whole episode talking about it. Also, something that's not online. I don't think short music for short people is streaming anywhere. I wonder if it's like a rights issue thing, or if the digital world's like, you can't put 100 songs on here.
Yeah, or there's something wrong with this upload. Everything just cut off after 30 seconds.
Next question. We talked a little bit about pop music. Weezer put out Ratitude in 2009, which has some decent tracks. I know you were a big fan of Can't Stop Partying when we DJ. Our friend Dave says that Weezer could put out a best of with all the albums that are not included in the first 3, and it would be better. Do you buy that theory?
Yes.
Ooh.
Would it be better than the first 3? No, because I don't think they have put out anything. That's a tough one. Now I'm trying to think like track to track. You would have to kind of put like Hash Pipe up against it's definitely better than Buddy Holly, but up against like My Name is Jonas or Say It Ain't So.
So
This might be a spreadsheet conversation.
this is definitely a spreadsheet conversation. So I used to think Dave was crazy about this, but if you go through their albums after the Green album, there's usually like 2 or 3 really good songs on every album, and there's a lot of filler. So you never listen to them.
Mhm.
But because the Blue album is so good front to back, and Pinkerton's so good front to back, and the Green album is fairly good front to back, I feel like you just maybe never go back to those newer Weezer albums, and then so I don't know. He might have a case. And then also, we're of an age where that Blue album is so pivotal, and
Yeah.
Pinkerton to some extent too, that maybe you just have like a nostalgic grip on those albums where like they mean a lot more. Finally, spring is here officially. I mean, not for real in Calgary, but in theory, it's spring. What's a great sunny day song? And not Sunny Day Real Estate, unless it's a Sunny Day Real Estate song you want to pick.
I was going to say Circles.
It is a great song.
A great sunny day. I think we've talked about this, and
Well, I'm sure we have.
Sort of shift into more of a ska mode. And the one that this was probably my answer the last time we talked about it, so maybe that just shows that it holds true. But My Town by Bucko 9 would be like
Perfect.
the
Great.
20 degree, windows down, go get a Slurpee, or hang out on a patio, and like you just need to be outside when you put that song on.
It's a great song and perfect. And then I would just like to audible my answer from last episode where you asked me what my favorite appearance of a band on a live show was. I'd like to change my answer to 5 Spot on John O'Vision.
We all know that's not true.
That's some serious deep cut information for anybody, but John O'Vision was a Canadian TV show. You might know Jono from Trailer Park Boys. He's in Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, he was in Trailer Park Boys, yeah.
And I believe he is also in Shoresy as one of the broadcasters on Shoresy.
Jonathan Torrance, Canadian legend.
One episode of Degrassi where he plays an older Shane. Anyway, Justin's band was on there. And yeah, I don't know why they wore jumpsuits at one point, but that was a decision.
Choices were made.
Choices were made. But that's my answer now. So 5 Spot, John O'Vision. Look it up. Or don't.
Great. Now I'm going to put you on the spot with my question for Mike. And it's of a very similar thread to what I asked last episode. But Mike, I would like to know if you have a musician cameo on a TV show that you really liked, enjoyed, or had a good chuckle with.
A musician cameo on a TV show? Oh, fuck. There's got to be... I can't even think of one right now. There's got to be something. Oh,
I'm sure Gene Simmons has been on some TV show that wasn't his own.
It wouldn't be good.
Just like his own show.
Yes, I guess. There has to be something where someone's been on a show and it's been funny. Musicians on Simpsons usually suck. Like Blink on there was annoying.
Mm-hmm. Cypress Hill was pretty funny.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. And
Yeah.
they just did their thing with the symphony just now. Yeah, let's go with that. Cypress Hill, Simpsons. Or even actually that whole episode. Smashing Pumpkins are funny on there, too.
Yeah.
Smiling politely.
The Smells Like Otto's Jacket is something that's just in my vernacular. I say it all the time.
My neighbor smokes a lot of weed, so every time I pull up, I'm just like, it smells like Otto's jacket out here.
Yeah. Great answer.
Yes. So, Justin, what have you been listening to?
Couple things on the go. Coheed and Cambria released a new album called The Father of Make Believe. I found a couple songs on it really good. A couple that I think are taking a bit of time to get used to, or at least sort of differentiate from some of the other songs on the album. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that release. And I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to it at all.
No, I've been meaning to listen to it. I loved the singles. Like they were I think maybe the third or second single that they released was so good. I can't think of the title name, and I just haven't had a chance to listen to the album because, like, I feel like listening to a Coheed album is like you have to listen to the whole thing. You can't and pay attention. I don't think it's like a singles kind of. They're not like a singles band really.
Yeah,
so I haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah, it is good. Like it's sort of feels like a good blend of some slower songs, some faster stuff, or some heavier stuff. So worth a listen if you're like a band. If you like the band, probably not going to convert too many people, but
yeah, I don't think Coheed's a band you could ever convert people. Like you either like them or you don't like them. They're so distinct that like you either like it or don't like it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've been listening to a band from Northern Tennessee called Quit Everything. They just put an album called Entertaining Ghosts. I can't really find a whole lot more about the band. I think they're pretty small. But this was they reminded me of like a very local kind of sound from 20 plus years ago, I guess almost 30 years ago, like very 90s skate punk, which was just fun. It was fun to listen to. Nothing that's sort of too serious, just fast melodic skate punk.
Nice. So, yeah. Sometimes that's good.
Yeah. It's a short, easy listen. And then the third new album that just came out is Split Dogs with the album Here to Destroy. who's a band out of the UK. More, I mean, definitely some like 80s-ish punk rock mixed with almost Sunset Strippy, but not glam rock, like not hair metal or anything like that.
Just like that grittiness to it.
Yeah, gritty is a great way to describe it. Just very like from the streets kind of sound. They're from the UK. I can't remember where, but yeah, gritty rock and roll. And they look like they would be awesome to see in like a crowded dive bar somewhere. And again, like just a very rock and roll forward album that doesn't. It's actually so rock and roll and set in 4/4 time that in any break in the music, there's still like a drummer like clicking the sticks or like a hi-hat, just anything to just keep 4/4 going throughout the whole thing. So I imagine when you see them live, they would just play 13 songs in their 25-minute set and just no breaks, nothing, just straight ahead rock and roll assault. So
crazy. What was that band name again? Sorry, I just missed it.
Split Dogs.
Split Dogs. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Good for like actually pretty good for like the spring, better weather. Get out there, get some yard work done. It's a real dad conversation.
Get some yard work done. Maybe do some raking.
Yeah, just rock and roll, rake and roll the shit out of that lawn and put down some top seed.
What kind of soil are you using?
Dirt.
Got a good fertilizer on that?
pH balanced.
You know it.
And then a throwback album. This one's back from 2007. A band I hadn't heard of at all and never listened to or came across. But the band is Deal Gone By. Deal Gone By or Deal Gone Bad?
Well, you
I think it's
found
Deal
it.
Gone Bad. They're like the album's called The Ramblers. And very like Agrolites-ish. Sorry, Deal's Gone Bad is the name of the band. Very like Agrolites-ish, two-tone kind of throwback, but from the mid-2000s, so a little bit more modern sound. But, again, with the weather changing, things getting nicer, this is an awesome one to just put on and kind of relax and enjoy some sunshine.
Nice. So that's 4 albums that I haven't heard any of them. So that's exciting.
Look at that.
I'm excited. That's nice. And they all sound different too, which is kind of cool.
It's very all over the place. Those are 4 very, very different sounding things.
I like it. The bands I've been listening to. First off, I have to talk about an Edmonton band. Sorry, I have to talk about an Edmonton band, not ban, but we can ban Edmonton too if you'd like. Which kind of feels weird heading into the NHL playoff season. It kind of feels like blasphemy. That's the word, right? Blasphemy.
There you go. You got it.
English. I think my NyQuil's starting to kick in. The band's Real Sickies. The album is Under a Plastic Bag. It's their newest album, came out a few weeks ago. The Real Sickies have been around for like at least a decade now, I think. So you kind of know what they sort of sound like, pop punk, like not Ramones core, but like just the pop punk sound to them. And on this album, they've really changed it up. Really matured. They've added some power pop, some indie rock, some new wave to it. The first time I heard the single, I didn't know. I was like, oh, I don't know what's going to go on with this album. It doesn't sound like the Real Sickies. But the more I listen to the full album, it's so good. Like, it's leaning to be my favorite album of the year so far. I really enjoyed the direction they took. Recording's top notch. Production's really cool on it. The songwriting is fantastic. So I recommend checking it out. If you're a Real Sickies fan, it might be a little bit of a departure, but not enough that you would be like, oh, I hate it. Next up, the Casper Fight Scene and their self-titled debut full-length. I'm guessing by the name of the band, you can probably take a swing at what they might sound like. You have a guess? Nope.
But I'm sure they're a theme band.
No, shockingly not. It's not about Casper. Midwest emo with pop-punk tendencies. I kind of heard a few rumblings about this band over the last little while, here and there on blogs, and how good their full length was going to be. And when it finally came out, it didn't disappoint. It's full of catchy hooks, instrumental breakdowns, heartfelt lyrics. They include a nod to the Menzingers on the song Cadillac Death Trap, and it opens with the line, "I don't want to be an asshole anymore," which should at least make most of our listeners want to check it out.
Sold me.
I figured. So just when I thought I might be burnt out on the whole Midwest emo scene, another band comes along and makes me excited again. So I recommend checking it out. Third one is a band called Knife Proof Earmuffs, which is a mouthful. And the album title is One of Them Real Good Times, which is what everyone says when they hang out with me. This is the new band featuring Luca the Copyrights, Hospital Job, and Starter Jackets, and Lanny from Local Drags and Starter Jackets. I kind of expected this to be an extension of Starter Jackets, and in some ways it is, but it's more in line with Lanny's work in Local Drag as it goes into more of the realm of alt country indie rock. So there's still pop punk tendencies and stuff in there too, but it's a little bit more country. There's slide guitar, I think, in there and stuff. Slide guitar is always a
automatic country.
Yeah.
But not Western, just country.
Yeah. They don't have that voice that you talked to. Justin, this is a good sidebar. Justin and me were at a Flames game once, and it was, I don't know why they had a band playing. Last year they had bands playing sometimes, and they were just a cover band. And the guy, when he spoke into the mic, he talked like Justin or me. And then as soon as he sang, he put on that like
country twang.
That country rock thing. And Justin was like, it's like they just automatically do it. So these guys don't, so you don't have to worry about that. I've had the song loud and clear on steady repeat, and if you're a fan of any of those bands, I would suggest you check them out. Whew, it's a whole mouth. This is a lot going on here. When you're,
so much new music too. Like the next few episodes, there's a lot of stuff to, coming out in April here too. So
it felt like it was really slow to start, and now it feels like it's like a wave of music.
Yeah.
Last one on my list is a band called The Names of Our Friends, and the album is Should We Know Better Than to Wonder. It's kind of funny how you were talking about throwback to local bands. This kind of sounded like a throwback to like the screamo hardcore stuff that was coming out in this area in the early or late 90s, mid 90s maybe, mid to late 90s. Names of Our Friends are a trans femme screamo act from the Pacific Northwest. It's heavy, loud, with emotional lyrics. The lyrics play to the backdrop of our current political climate and attack on transgendered and marginalized groups. So it has just like an extra little bit of a hit there. You can really feel the anger, the pain with each scream and breakdown in the songs. I did have to look up the lyrics because my old man ears can't really decipher screams like they used to. But there's a line in one of the tracks called No Longer My Blood that says, "When I was still my father's son." And that just sort of struck me as so powerful when you think about not being accepted for who you are. And if you were changing and the people that should love you the most all of a sudden don't for no obvious reason other than preconceived ideas of what we should be. It's a really good album, really great screamo, and that kind of music's not for everybody, but if you like it, it's definitely worth a listen. And that's what I've been listening to.
Cool. Lots of stuff to check out.
Lots, yeah. Like you said, it seems like it's a lot going on music-wise, and it seems I think all 8 albums were very different, so kind of cool. So 2008, 2009, what's your first pick, Justin?
Mike, I'm going to start off with a band that you rolled out for the last episode with, I think, your favorite album from theirs, and I think I said, well, that's interesting, their next one is mine, and so I shortlisted it for this episode, and then I had to pick it because out of all the albums that I picked today, this is the one that I've been listening to the most recently because it's so good. I think I might like it more now than I did when it came out. 0 points for creativity on this one because I'm full on stealing your pick from last time. But the band is The Whole Steady, and this release is Stay Positive. This one came out in 2008 on Vagrant Records, which is still like, it's sort of strange for me because they're not like a punk rock band, they're like a rock band. So interesting release on Vagrant, but nonetheless, this is such an awesome album. I love the way it starts with Constructive Summer. It reminds me of the Boss Tones, not in a ska way, but in a like, these are like musicians that are playing like multiple instruments. They're a full band, they're a full complement. Adults, not like I don't know, shorts and backwards hats like adolescents. regardless of what their age is. Like it just has like this sort of more, I guess, adult sound to it. I don't know how else to describe it.
Oh, I would say it's very adult sounding. It's like a weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. You're like, I don't think like a teenager might like the Hold Steady. Like a 15-year-old might not like grasp onto the Hold Steady.
Yeah, like I don't imagine these guys hit the all ages scene. I think they were like bar shows through and through.
Maybe I mean, I don't know. I was older when I got to them too, but they definitely
Yeah.
They definitely have like an older person sound to them, and I don't know why, but maybe it's just because Craig Finn kind of looks like a old college teacher or something.
Yeah, Elvis Costello-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the first track has the line, "Me and my friends are like double whiskey, Coke, no ice." So the nod to Dillinger 4 there, which is pretty awesome. The song, I love "Sequestered in Memphis" is
So good.
The song that I probably like, one of my favorite songs on the album, just from like a storytelling perspective. It's a pretty entrancing story. This one is for the Cutters, is the one about the girl that goes to like a local townie party, which reminds me of like going to Invermere, which is like a small town a few hours from Calgary, that has a lot of like Calgary people would go there and have like, fancy houses that they would just go to for the weekends. But then there was always like the local, kids from the town, who we would refer to as townies.
So they're townies.
One of our friends. Yeah. So
just to clarify, neither Justin nor myself owned
we
a
did
cabin
not.
there.
We
had to
happened to know
leech
someone.
off people that did.
We could have been townies.
Yeah. We did attend a townie's wake by accident.
Yeah, we crashed a funeral.
Fun
which
times.
is awesome and somewhat shocking.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of really great stuff on this album, which is their fourth full length, and the one that really, this is the one that hits the hardest for me. I sort of fell off them. I think I listened to the next album a little bit and kind of fell off from there. But yeah, this is the one that sort of gets me back and listening to them. And the song I went with for this one is Slapped Actress, which is the final track on the album. And I just love the way this track like just builds and builds and builds, like as it goes on. You start adding in this layer of backup vocals and woes, and just there's this like dynamic where the band is building and building, and they come out of the breakdown and they're building up towards the end, and it's almost like Craig Finn's spoken word style of singing is trying to suppress that and like pull the band back, and you have this kind of like almost like tug of war between the two, and it creates just an incredible dynamic. I had to look up so many things in the lyrics, but I figured it was worth it because I think Craig Finn's very poetic, and he talks about John Cassavetes and Ben Gazzara, who I had to look up, and they're like old Hollywood guys or whatever. But then I love this tidbit that Ben Gazzara starred in a show that Michael Crichton directed. So there's my Jurassic Park tie-in. I did it, Mike.
That's it. You did it.
Hold Steady to Jurassic Park.
Have you seen Hold Steady live? I'm guessing not.
I have not. No.
I have not. I'm just like, when you brought up how much goes into the songs, I'm curious to see when they tour how much is there. Like I know Craig Finn does solo stuff on his tours, but like there's quite a bit of instruments, like different kinds of instruments on his Hold Steady album specifically. Like there's horns and there's like, I don't know. I'd be interested to see what it's like live. I imagine it'd either be amazing, like so impressive, or ultra disappointing because you're like, oh, you can't pull it off live.
Yeah, they're just sort of missing so much of this. But yeah.
Did you notice the sound thing now that I've got you on the spot? Or no, still not, that the sound on it.
Oh, how loud it is?
Yeah.
I can't say that I did.
I wonder if digitally it doesn't make the same sound.
Yeah, it might not.
Because our things autocorrect, right? Like now digitally, like to.
Yeah, you can set like you can preset your limits or whatever. I do have the CD.
Do you have a way to play
I will
CD?
give it to listen to. Oh fuck, no, I don't have any way. No, I should. I think there's a CD player in the car somewhere. Maybe I don't know.
I just bought a new car for the first time in a while, and it does not have a CD player, and I was like, "Uh-oh, this is really weird."
I'm really trying to think. I don't think my car has a CD player.
I don't think a lot of new cars do. Yeah. Great pick,
We'll never
Justin. again, can't say enough good things about that album, this band. I think they actually have a new one coming out pretty quick here too. But I can't remember if it's Hold Steady or if it's Craig Finn, which is one of those weird things that like the solo Craig Finn there isn't that much of a difference. There's a little bit, but not much. It's just a semantic sort of thing, I think. Do you have anything else you want to say about it?
No, just if you haven't gone back and listened to it, or you weren't sure about it at the time, go back, give this one a listen, pull the lyrics up, read through them. It hits pretty hard. They have so many great lines in this album.
The lyrics are so cool, and like there's lots of like nods to weird things that, like you said, you actually have to look up things. So
yeah, like there's the one line in Slapped Actress is they're holding their hands out for the body and blood now. And I'm like, that's so good. And it's talking about how, the people are filling the seats and the band is the directors and calling the shots kind of thing. And it's just like it's incredibly poetic.
So my first pick, I'm gonna break a rule that I set up myself, so I don't think it really matters. But I'm picking an EP, but it's only because this EP is still one of the huge standouts for me in 2009. The band is Red City Radio. This album is To the Sons and Daughters of Woody Guthrie. I'm not sure if this counts as CanCon because Garrett now lives in Edmonton. I don't know if Edmonton City Sound has the same ring as Oklahoma City Sound. Doesn't get the same sort of cool factor to it. Not that Oklahoma seems like a cool place, but there's definitely like an image of what Oklahoma sound might be compared to
like a musical
Edmonton sound. Stabby, stabby.
I was going to say it's the sound of knife piercing skin.
Too soon. I know we've talked about this band a lot on here. Really love them, especially this EP and their first release. Like they're just a solid band. For some reason, I associate them with Gaslight Anthem. I'm not really sure why. Like they don't sound like Gaslight Anthem, but they sort of do. Maybe I just sort of discovered them at the same time.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a weird mental association. Like I think we've discussed that before, how you sometimes associate a band. So whenever I hear specifically like 59 Sound, I think about Red City Radio. So they followed this up with a couple of great albums, but this EP is the one that I go back to over and over again. They definitely do that core pop punk thing better than a lot. I guess it's more gruff vocals, but I think there is a bit of like country to their songs too. I don't know if you noticed that, or if it's just me making it up.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like that. I think I read once it was a description of whiskey soaked vocals. That I think is kind of where that rough, kind of country, folk country sound comes from.
Yeah, it's that makes sense. Like I said, I don't know what else I could really talk about this album other than it's 4 songs, or is it 5? No, it's 4 songs. Really good. All are really good. I went with We Are the Sons of Woody Guthrie. The song just rips, and I love that opening line, "Give 'em hell in New York, Gabe." It's just what a great way to open a track. And that's the one I went with.
Yeah, it's what a great debut from that band. Kind of really set the tone for certainly the next few releases. All right, kicking off the years 2008, 2009. I'm going with The Whole Steady off the album Stay Positive. The song is Slapped Actress.
Red City Radio, To the Sons and Daughters of Woody Guthrie, and the song is We Are the Sons of Woody Guthrie.
Don't tell my sister about your most recent vision. Don't tell my family they're all wicked, strict Christian. Don't tell the hangers-on. Don't tell your friends. Don't tell them we went down to Ybor City again. Don't tell the dancers, they'll just get distracted. Don't tell the DJs, they already suspect us. Don't mention the bloodshed, don't mention the scans. Don't tell them Ybor City almost killed us again. We are the theater, they are the people, dressed up to be seated, looking upwards and dreaming. Well, the projector hosting the screening. We're dust in the spotlights. We're just kind of floating. Don't drop little hints, I don't want them to guess. Don't mention Tampa, they'll just know all the rest. Don't mention bloodshed, don't tell them it hurts. Don't say we saw angels, they'll take us straight to the church. They queue up for tickets to see the performance. They push to get closer, looking upwards with wonder. We are the actors, the cameras are rolling. I'll be Ben Gazzara, you'll be Gino Rollins. Sometimes actresses get slapped. Sometimes actresses get slapped. Sometimes fake fights turn out bad. Sometimes actresses get slapped. Some nights making it look great might end up with someone hurt. Some nights it's just entertainment. And some other nights it's work. They come in for the beating, sit in stadium seating. They're holding their hands out for the body and blood now. We're the directors, our hands will hold steady. I'll be John Cassavetes. Let me know when you're ready. Man, we make our own movies. Man, we make our own movies.
Give them hell in your game. Let them see you down. You tell all the bars from New York about that Oklahoma City song. With our tracks dying unison, singing a melody, spinning planet in the streets with us. It's kinda hard to fall on deaf ears. No! a perfect picture of poverty, but it'll be missed when it's gone. I'm in this soul, living my father's dream. I'm just trying to find a better way out. I'm just trying to find a better way out. Living this soul, where we belong. I'm just trying to find a better way out. I'm just trying to find a better way out. Still here, but nothing changed. Spread the word wherever we go. We won't be silenced anymore. Singing our own refrain. The broken hearts inflated egos. We won't be silenced anymore. Still here, but nothing changed. Spread the word wherever we go. We won't be silenced anymore. Singing our own refrain. The broken hearts inflated egos. We won't be silenced anymore.
All right, we're back. We're going to keep rolling with the second picks. This one needs very little introduction. I did, much like my first one, I'm basically just lifting this from the last episode because it's the second studio album from New Brunswick, New Jersey's the very own Gaslight Anthem. Mike, this band, and maybe this album in particular, it might remind you, you'll have to give it a listen, of a smaller, lesser-known Edmonton band called Red City Radio. Give it a listen, see if you maybe draw a connection there. One might remind you of the other. I don't know. Might be something there to look into.
Might be.
The 59 sound is, if there were rumblings of the Gaslight Anthem before with Sink or Swim, I think this album really sort of put them into the forefront or the spotlight of, this up-and-coming or fully arrived band now that are playing sort of big festival shows, bigger and bigger venues, touring with Bruce Springsteen, I think, at this point, blowing up on YouTube, getting some radio play, and putting out just a banger of an album with the 59 sound. In my head, this album's a lot more rock than maybe it is. There's actually quite a few moments in this album that slow down and kind of get a ballady feel to them. But as great as those songs are, there's definitely some that I think are written to kind of get a crowd moving, and they can do just that. So I won't touch too much on the sound. I think they just kind of built on what they had going on Sink or Swim. Lots of that signature sound I mentioned last time, where the guitar sort of follows the melody or creates its own counter melody, is really evident on this album. And this was, I think, the album that I saw them live after it had come out, and they were great. They're just such an awesome band to see live, to listen to really anywhere. And I think this album is like one of the sort of like all around crowd pleasers where you can put it on for just about anyone, and it'll hit and resonate with people.
You mean you don't want to talk about how they sound like Bruce Springsteen and they're both from New Jersey? I don't think that's ever been discussed.
Yeah, that's an interesting take.
Yeah, I just thought of it. I don't know. We'll have to dive into that. Maybe it's a whole episode worth of discussion. Jokes aside, I agree with you. Fantastic album, and definitely one of those albums that you can put on for anybody. It kind of goes across all genres, and I think most people enjoy it.
Yeah, I think from a lyrical content and storytelling perspective here, I imagine, with no real insight into this whatsoever, that a lot of these songs were not left over from Sink or Swim, but probably conceptualized along the same time frames. Like, they really are playing on the similar themes of like growing up and sort of like your your teens becoming your 20s and like having to say, you know, goodbye to your youth. And I think that probably resonated a lot with us at the time. We were sort of at the same age as probably this band was, or maybe a couple of years behind. But like, you know, there's a theme of growing up, and if you haven't yet, then the world's passing you by. So I think that really resonated with me at the time and has stuck with me since.
There's a really good article, I believe it's in Rolling Stone or maybe Spin, and they do like a breakdown of recording this album and how they came up with everything. It's really good. Whatever the anniversary was of when that album came out. I should be able to do the math, but I'm not going to pretend to try right now.
Yeah, it came out in 2008, so it's probably a 20... I don't know if it had a 25-year anniversary. No.
It was a little while back.
15-year anniversary.
If you get a chance to read the article, it's awesome because they do explain all of that. And it's just very interesting to... It was just one of those... I'm always fascinated by stuff like if things are documented and how different band members see different things. Because, I mean, everyone's got their own story on why something is important or why you did something. Especially looking back when it's not as fresh in your memory. It's a good one if you get a chance to read it.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I think that'll help. Just I don't know what's going to help. It'll just be interesting. I went with the.
Cures what ails you.
It might. Does it cure gout? I went with the backseat, which is ironic that I think my body's too sore to get out of a backseat now. So
definitely,
I need one of those handles to get out of a car.
Out with gout.
Yeah. I went with the last track on the album, The Backseat, which again it ties in nicely to my first pick from The Whole Steady. It's a song that just builds and builds and builds and has just like this great, breakdown and then an outro that just like the band just hammers it, and it's a great way to close an album. It'd be an amazing way to close a show, and kind of leave everyone wanting some more. So that was my pick.
Great pick, great album, great band. I think we mentioned last episode that this last part of the decade, we saw enough time had passed that bands started rediscovering or revamping sort of that 90s punk sound. So there was bands doing like not so much like copying, but doing their own spin on the Fat and Epitaph sound of the 90s and the pop punk sound of the 90s, and everyone, like, enough time had passed that it didn't sound like copycat stuff. It sounded like new again. I mean, it happens in all genres, I believe. And one of those bands that we sort of touched on but never really went too deep into was the Swellers. So my next pick is the Swellers and their 2009 release Ups and Downsizing. I'll admit at the time I was pretty lukewarm on the Swellers, but with each release and with more time, I really started to love this band. I almost had picked My Everest for the last episode, but I listened to My Everest and then I listened to Ups and Downsizing, and I think I like Ups and Downsizing just a little bit more. It's a smidge better songwriting style, a little crisper recording. And I know this is silly, but I always found the Swellers sort of took the best parts of No Use for a Name and made it their own. And this really came to fruition on this album, I think. Front to back, just great. Like I said, they really took the things we liked about those bands from before and made it their own. Just, it's their own sound, but it's enough. It was close enough to that sound that it was really exciting again. And the song I went with is Dirt, which is the closing track. It has nothing to do with the Motley Crue book, The Dirt, as far as I can tell. But maybe it is, and I don't know. I highly doubt it. Anyway, just a great band, great musicians. I think someone like you would really appreciate this band, probably just how well the recordings are done and how tight they are. And I think the vocals on this album got more polished and better as well.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, and you can definitely see like just a bit of a pickup in the production side that does well for this band. And I really do like this album. And exactly what he touched on. It's that idea of like whether it's basement shows or festivals or rock clubs or whatever it is, it's just these are the bands that sort of make it feel like they're the bands that make me want to start a band again.
Yeah, actually, when I remember hearing them and being like, oh, this would be fun to put out bands again. Like, I wish I was still hyper involved in the scene. I could put out albums again.
Yeah.
it's always good when a band re-energizes you like that.
All right, second picks for the year 2008 and 2009. I went with the Gaslight Anthem. The album is The 59 Sound, and the track is The Backseat.
The Swellers, the song is Dirt off Ups and Downsizing.
But you and I, we've been through
summer always brought in that wild and reckless breeze. And in the back seats we just tried to find some room for our needs. You know the summer always brought in that wild and reckless breeze. And in the back seat we just tried to find some room for our needs. You know the summer
Mike, what would you say the best thing to come out of Wyoming is? That's right, it's the band Teenage Bottlerocket. And that's who I went with for my fourth pick, because I don't know what the fuck else comes out of Wyoming.
I was trying to think of some sort of clever sports team, but I couldn't even think of like...
I can't think of anything.
They gotta have like a...
Do they even have a university? What's the city? The Cheyenne?
Cheyenne is a city.
I really
it's don't know.
Be Teenage Bottlerocket. There's nothing else from...
From Wyoming?
Yeah. If we somehow end up becoming the 51st state, Wyoming should get dropped.
That should be part of the deal.
Yeah. It can be annexed by Winnipeg or whatever it borders. Nobody knows and nobody cares. Unless we have listeners from Wyoming, in which case we love you.
Shout out Wyoming.
Shout out Wyoming. In the year 2009, Teenage Bottlerocket released the album They Came From the Shadows. I would not say I'm a big... I actually don't even like the term Ramones core. I think it sort of overly pigeonholes bands. But there's something... this is not a... I don't even know if you... I guess they're sort of Ramones-ish core. Just like really straightforward...
Pop punk.
Pop punk.
Well, I think some of the problem... Sorry to cut you off. I think some of the problem why you start saying things like Ramones core is because the term pop punk got co-opted by bands like Blink-182 and then more so the super radio friendly punk sound that came out afterwards when bands started like the kind of songs like Simple Plan's an easy one to pick on, like that sound. Yeah. And I think then you needed to decipher something different than saying, I mean, the term Ramones core had been around before, but to distance yourself from what mainstream people were calling pop punk, I guess you needed something in the way that emo is sometimes such a shitty term because people nowadays say emo and you think about Hot Topic or like
for sure
more goth kids, mall goths instead of like you're not thinking emo bands, you're thinking that. So I think maybe there was a sort of a similar thing and so it just becomes easier to be like there are Ramones core pop punk band, not like, but I wouldn't necessarily like say that Teenage Bottlerocket sounds too Ramonesy. They're more like Chicks Diggity, Screeching Weasley, which are pop, which are from the Ramones core school. Either way, I get what you're saying. Sorry, that's how I think about it when I say that term.
Yeah, so it's not typically my kind of favorite subgenre within the punk rock world, but there are definitely some times when it just sort of hits really well, and this is one of those albums that I think does it exceptionally well. There are more than enough songs on this that sound different from each other, that sort of pace really well, but all in all, it's just full of energy and I think just like a really like joy and simplicity in the album that makes it really easy to listen to, and there's like some really good memorable tracks, the ones that I kind of go back to a lot for Teenage Bottlerocket. This album makes me want to like crank it up, crush cheap beers and and rake the shit out of the front lawn or whatever dads do now that it's almost springtime. Love the unpolished side of this. It sounds like it's recorded almost live off the floor and maybe touched up a little bit here and there. Definitely catchy hooks throughout the whole thing. The lyrics are easy to understand, a little bit silly, but enjoyable through and through. So really like this album. This is the one that caught sort of Teenage Bottlerocket on my radar, and the one that I kind of go back to the most for this band.
Yeah, I would say this is their best album front to back too, and not just because there's a song about Kiss on there, but I think there is something about them that's more appealing than a lot of the sound, in that like, they are like there's a lot of energy to the songs, and like to me they remind me a lot of what Chicks Dig It feels like too. But definitely like there's an energy there that's not always in all that in those kind of bands, but
Yeah, they play fast songs that you know they're going to play faster when they play them live.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did, Mike, just for you, go with the song "Bigger Than Kiss."
No one's bigger than Kiss.
Because it's a great song.
No one's bigger than Kiss.
And thankfully, somebody wrote a punk rock song about Kiss that was better than Guttermouths. So
it is one of the better punk rock songs about Kiss. on the topic of Kiss, did you see or did I send you the Gene Simmons thing?
This is the internship.
Yeah. Okay. Insane. Also, maybe brilliant. Is he getting roadies for free that are paying him?
That are paying him.
People are paying to do work for him. That's insane.
Yeah. How much did you end up paying for it?
12,000 American. I mean,
yeah.
Legitimately, one of my brother's coworkers is thinking about paying it. And I was like, why would you? Like, I love Kiss. Gene Simmons solo stuff is pretty fucking terrible on a level that even a Kiss fan should realize. See, you should never pay money to work.
Yeah, and like
what's the experience? I go like there's no way Gene is sitting and hanging out with you. He's gonna come and do his smile thing. Like
it's gonna be like when Bart becomes an intern on the Krusty show, and Krusty doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah. Like when Gene came here and did his vodka thing, he my uncle went to go and he brought a pitcher with him to sign, and Gene was like, "No, I don't sign pitchers. I'll only sign a bottle of vodka, but you have to buy it." So you had to buy his vodka and get it to sign it, and then he still wouldn't sign the pitcher or take a picture with you. Like,
yeah, I'm sure the pictures were another $25.
I imagine that's what his working for him would be like too. Anyway, great pick. Enough about Kiss. So it's funny you brought up pop punk and Ramones core, because the band I picked is definitely in that school, if not more so than Teenage Bottlerocket. The band is the Dopamines, and their self-titled 2008 release. I think I had mentioned how, again, much like the Swellers, there was this rekindling of love for this music that came out in the 90s for me. And I assume a lot of other people as well, because there seems to be a lot more of those bands showing up at this time. And maybe it was just the influence of punk news for me, but they seem to like really push these kind of bands, and I was discovering new stuff from all these bands like the Copyrights, the Dopamines, Houseboat, and Steinways, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is a faux pas, but I downloaded a torrent of this album based on a review when this came out, and instantly hooked. Right out of the gate, this album hits you with a song that makes you want to have a good time. It's got so much energy, and it reminds you about how great it was to see bands in like a sweaty basement or like a community hall. Like, my only complaint with this album is the artwork. Had I seen it in the store, I probably would have never picked it up. Do you know what the artwork looks like?
Yeah, doesn't it look like it was drawn by a child? Like, isn't it like super?
No,
not
it's
a
just
child.
it's just
like
a
it looks like
it's just a photo of the three guys, but it's like brown. It looks like it's so boring looking.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of different.
They do have another one where they have drawing too. Like, I think that the one after it is, but this one's just like a bad promo shot or something. I don't know. But what the fuck do I know? It's 2025, and they just put it on a great album last year, so they're still around. So they know what they're doing. I probably could have picked any of these tracks on the album, but I listened to this album all last weekend and ended up putting Molly on my ongoing playlist, so it must have grabbed me the right way. So the song I picked was Molly. And just to clarify, that was the song Molly. I didn't just take some Molly.
That would explain a couple of things.
I wish I was on Molly right now. Actually, I don't know what Molly even feels like, but I assume it's fun. Or dopamine. What's a dopamine?
I think that's what gets released when you're on Molly.
Oh, it's all adding up. And I don't.
Great.
Do you like the Dopamines, or is this too Ramones core for you?
No, I do, and it's. I think it is that you listed a few of the bands, but like this is sort of just on the cusp. Maybe it's the first couple of years of certainly of like punknews.org and the org core sound, which I think these guys are not Well, I'd say they're still part of it. Like, this is like really like this is punknews.org, and this is the start of Fest, and like a lot of these kind of. I think these guys are East Coast here, right?
They're from Cincinnati.
Is that on the seaboard?
It's in Ohio, Justin.
It's not quite Midwest. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I think Ohio's Midwest. Is Ohio not Midwest?
We'll
have to learn this off. We
so.
become the 51st state, I assume.
And I know. Just think
There's a lot more geography. Good luck figuring out where Flin Flon is, you fuckers.
Yeah. But yeah, like this is definitely that sort of fest or fest ready bands that made similar to what I said about the Swellers, like made music fun again, made me want to get back into like I'm like back into punk rock, and made it feel like punk rock again, and sort of took it away from I shouldn't say took it away from, but like it's not Green Day or Blink-182 playing stadium shows. It's not My Chemical Romance. It's not the bands showing up on whether it's Saturday Night Live or the late shows doing the MTV circuit, Jonavision. It's bands that really just seem to love what they're doing and trying to get out there as much as possible. So
I think it's a really good point. That's a really good point about bringing the fun back. And I'm just as you were talking about that, I was thinking like, did like the rise of all those like super emo bands ruin the fun, and like the whole like trying to be rock star things with like some of the bands like you had brought up Story of the Year before, like bands like that, did they ruin the fun of punk rock for a bit, and then these bands like took it back for us?
Yeah, I think it wasn't, I can't even say that it was ruining the fun, but it was definitely like things became more performative. And we talked like last episode or the episode before about like, all of a sudden image in punk rock was really important when,
it's not
punk rock
to these
used
people,
to be
which is
quite the opposite.
Yeah.
And then like, honestly, you could take 24 of these bands and line them up. They're all going to look the same. They're wearing literally each other's t-shirts. And it's just, it's
just people,
guys and girls wearing jeans and Vans and black t-shirts the same as I am. And it just sort of felt like, okay, yeah, we're back to like the things that I loved about punk rock in the first place.
Yeah, that's a great, really good point. I didn't even think about that until now. So great talking point, Justin. Also, for the record, Wyoming school is the Cowboys. So go Cowboys. Football. Also something we probably have to figure out if we get annexed. The whole football scene, eh?
Well, when the CFL has to play, or the NFL has to play by CFL rules, it's going to really throw them off. That 55-yard line is going to fuck everyone up.
All balls are... What was the slogan for a while? Our balls are bigger?
Our balls are bigger. Yeah.
So they say. Stupid sport. Sorry. Says the guy who loves soccer. All right, Justin.
All right, fourth picks. Are we already on fourth? No, that was
that's
third
only
picks.
Third pick. Sorry, I'm dragging it out with my brain.
With your CFL slander. Third picks for the years 2008, 2009. Teenage Bottlerocket off the album They Came From the Shadows. The song is Bigger Than Kiss.
Molly off the Dopamines self-titled release.
Looks kinda cool, but Paul Stanley kinda looks like
told when I was 5 years old. Imagine my surprise, looking in your eyes as you lay there cold. 14 years old. What do I say? 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 So say it, so say it, say it, so say it, so say it. Came without a warning. Now I lay here mourning. Another friendship told, another heartache sold. Imagine your demise from inside your eyes. Now you lay there cold. Now I'm freezing. What do I say? 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 So say it, so say it, say it, so say it, so say it. What do I say? 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 So say it, so say it, say it, so say it. Don't say that you're gone. You took my breath away from me, Molly. Don't say you're gone. And if I could, I would give you my breath to keep me from death. 14 years now I'm in tears, Molly. Still can't believe you're really gone. What do I say? 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 So say it, so say it, say it, so say it, so say it. What do I say? 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 It, so say it, so say it, say it, so say it. Don't say that you're gone.
All right, cruising along to the fourth picks of the years 2008, 2009.
I don't know if we've been cruising.
Oh, we've been
puttering,
meandering. Puttering is actually a great way to put it. Stumbling and stuttering our way through 3 picks so far. So here come the fourth. I'm going with a band. This is delving right into Nate Lewitt territory of low-hanging fruit. A band that's no stranger to the podcast. We're just about every album they put out and has made a list or an episode somewhere. So this one will be no exception. Hailing from the 51st state, it's Canada's own Propagandhi. Man, they would hate it if we referred to them as being from the 51st state. So come at me, I guess.
I don't think you want Todd coming at you. He knows karate.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's quite serious about it too. Propagandhi with the album supporting cast, which up until a few weeks ago, I just sort of put together, like, I've always known that it's called supporting cast, and I'm like, oh, it's like the supporting cast on a production or a show, as well as cast, like the caste system. I don't know why I didn't.
Oh, who knew Propagandhi used play on words?
Yeah, I know.
It's not like them.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really churning full bore here. This album, I think, just has a number of really great songs on it. I think it just, again, they're leaning right back into the heavier stuff, the I Spy-ish influences, getting into a much heavier sound. I would say almost more so than they did on their previous release, Potemkin. So, and I'm all for it. I love how heavy this band gets, and that's why I chose the first track on the album, Night Letters, because the guitar riff that opens this album is so good. Like, it is maybe my favorite Propagandhi guitar riff, and it's just like, I'm assuming, I don't play guitar, so I don't know if this is correct or not, but like tuned down, just chugging guitar that is so heavy, and it just makes you want to listen to that song over and over again. And then when you get into the rest of the album, none of it disappoints.
I mean, yeah, like you said, it's low-hanging fruit, but I mean, Propagandhi is just one of those bands that somehow gets better and better with each album. Like, there's a lot of bands that have like a dip in their production and then find their way back with a good album here or there. But Propagandhi is just like keeps setting the bar higher and higher for themselves, which is phenomenal. And they keep getting heavier and more technical. And I don't know. This album's so good. I don't think there's a bad thing you can say about it. Also, good job on the CanCon. Have you heard their new song yet?
I have, yeah. It's
so
again,
good.
it's so good.
Yeah.
I would fully, yeah, it's exactly what he said. They were getting better and better as the years go on. And this one was 15, almost over 15 years ago.
See, it doesn't even feel like it. Like when I put it on, I'm like, oh, this is like, I always forget like how old it is already. Like it sounded like, I just remember hearing it for the first time. It just like blew me away.
Yeah.
If I could go louder on my car stereo, I would have gone louder, but I couldn't.
Yeah, this is a turn it up to 11 kind of album.
I was joking with to go circle back to the gel thing. So someone made an AI version of the gel like statement, like an AI song of the gel statement, like word for word, and posted it on like streaming services as gel. So like, I guess there must be like a lag in when you put something through digital services.
Before it gets kind of flagged
before it gets flagged that it's not actually the band. And then I was thinking, how great would it be if somebody could figure out how to do like an AI version with like, let's say, I was thinking originally Taylor Swift, but my little cousin had said it'd be funnier if it was like Kid Rock and like using just a Propagandhi song, like the lyrics to a Propagandhi song, and then these loser fans of the alt-right would be like, listen to it and they'd be like, what is it? What the fuck? He's saying fuck religion? What's this about now? Or like if Taylor Swift just had like a version of fuck religion and then you got it slipping through. I imagine that the bigger artists have probably a quicker takedown
they probably
policy.
shut that down a little quicker.
Yeah. But I'm not creative enough or have enough time to do anything like that, but somebody should do something similar. It would just be funny for a bit. But great pick, Justin. My next pick's going to be slightly different than Propagandhi, but that's okay. It's hard to follow up Propagandhi with anything. The band is Broadway Calls. The album is Good Views and Bad News. Came out also in 2009. I really didn't know Broadway Calls at the time this came out, but I used to DJ with this guy, Todd, who is a few years younger than us, and Todd would always play To the Sheets like almost every single night that we DJ'd. It would just get so stuck in my head. And I'd say this is maybe a few years later, but I finally ended up having to grab the album because it had been such a mainstay of like summer songs in my head. And ever since then, I just fell in love with the band. So I did have to find out a little bit about this band when I were doing research. Billy Joe from Green Day signed them and put this album out. So a lot of people made fun of them for it. They said that it was too Green Day sounding, which is funny because we were talking about the Swellers a little bit and how they had kind of taken back the sound. But this album would be like that very cusp of the kind of album I like that was not, like it's not overproduced. It's right on that cusp of being overproduced and overly poppy, but it's just enough punk rock for me, which I guess is kind of what Green Day is like too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you think about Green Day, specifically on Dookie, it's just straddles that line of being like, no, this is still like punk rock and not like radio punk. Even though to a lot of people it is radio punk, but it was enough. There's enough to it that it grabs me, and that's the way I felt about this album. Is it's just straddles that line in a perfect world. I love the energy of the songs. I love the gang vocally kind of aspects and the sing along moments. I know that it's not like maybe as gruff as some people would like or as raw, but it's just one of those albums I can go back to and enjoy for this kind of pop punk sound. The song I did have to go with was To the Sheets, just because that's the one that got me going.
Yeah, it's a great song. I'm super glad you picked this album. It's a great one. If you didn't have it, it would be on my list for sure. But yeah, it's a lot of, it's just like a great listen. It's like, I was going to say like good, clean fun, but clean, like, just like, not overly cleaned up. It's just like a great album. And again, this album makes me want to be in a band. It makes me want to play music with my friends. It makes me want to, like, even at, sort of late 20s growing up, it makes you want to be a kid again.
Yeah. And I think the lyrics on this album aren't as like, maybe they get lost in the poppiness of it, but there's some politically tinged things. There's stuff about going away as soldiers and stuff like that, which is something I think more common for Americans, like, kids that after high school go into the army and stuff and things like that. So
that's all BL You Can't Be?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
there's stuff like that. I mean, so it's, which again, another example, Green Day. Green Day does that too. They still do that, but they just can reach things. So I guess there are some similarities, and maybe how the bass drives a lot of the songs too.
Yeah.
Anyway, great album. Worth checking out if you skimmed over it or were too snobby at the time.
Yeah, definitely worth giving it some time. All right, fourth picks for the years 2008, 2009. I went with the one and only Propagandhi, the album Supporting Cast, and the song is Night Letters.
Broadway Calls, Good Views and Bad News, and the song is To the Sheets. Justin, great pick. Again, can't say enough good things about Propagandhi. A big thank you to the listeners for listening to this episode. I know we say this a lot, but I'm always so thankful that anyone takes the time to listen to us babble about music. Thanks to Justin for doing this podcast with me. It's always fun hanging out, and sorry that we had some technical difficulties these last couple of times doing it, and we're really squeezing it in, so thanks for making the time to do this. I have to say thanks to Nate, because we talk on the side, and whenever I need help with anything, he's right there right away, and he helped me out with some stuff for this episode, so I want to say thanks to Nate. I'm just trying to suck up so he doesn't make any more HR complaints about me, but that's a WhatsApp.
Yeah, they're still coming in, which is,
He's relentless. He's done a lot of bad things. Or I've done a lot of bad things. I don't know. Huge shout out to the WhatsApp group. Thanks for the chat and the support. Extra shout out to Joel from the group, who has a new podcast called How Low Can a Punk Get? It's a podcast where Joel talks to punk rock and punk rock adjacent bassists. His first episode has some serious CanCon because his first guest was Todd from Propagandhi. I can't promise you that the podcast won't have any of that stupid bass bopping neck thing. I just assume all bass players do it. Bass players, am I right? Huh? Anyway, Joel is a huge supporter of us, so make sure you go give it a listen or watch it on YouTube. If you like our podcast, make sure you give us a nice review or comment. You can find us on Instagram at High Fives Podcast. You can reach out there or email us at superhighfivepodcast@gmail.com. If you want to join on the WhatsApp group, send us a note. We'll get you in there. Think that's everything I need to say. Justin, anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Not anything nice to say about bass players?
Definitely not.
Yeah, fair enough. Not a lot you can say.
The White Stripes had it right.
They did. You didn't see them bopping their neck like that. There's no jamming out. Oh, one other thing. As we had mentioned at the start of the episode, we're winding down our year thing. So if you have an idea for an episode, send us that idea. Maybe we'll use it. If you send me short songs or live albums, I'll politely reply with, I'll think about it. But in my head, I'm going to freak out like that scene in High Fidelity where Rob meets Ian and he imagines kicking him out of the store and they bash him with a chair or a cash register or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about, Justin? Or does that right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll send you the video.
Like a NyQuil-induced.
No, that's real. Seriously though, if send an idea, we probably could use some ideas. I can't recall what we have and haven't done because we don't have a website anymore. I really can't believe how expensive websites are to make or host. It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, that's it.
I don't know if you've heard of GeoCities. We've talked about it a few times, but
I looked. It's not around anymore. I can't even find your old site. I miss it. I need to see that. I need to see that flag burning. Just got to get us banned from ever going into America, hey?
Not when we're the 51st state.
Fuck. That makes me so angry. Anyway, that's it. Let's get back to our last picks before I get us deported from our own country.
From our own country.
At least this province might deport us.
Well, Mike, we are going to jump into the last picks of the years 2008, 2009. I love a good segue, and you set this one up quite nicely. The last band you picked, Broadway Calls, did a cover of the song I'm going to pick for my last pick here. It was released 10 years after the album came out. Broadway Calls put it out on the Red Scare 15 years of Tears and Beers comp, and it is a cover of the one and only Menzingers' Sunday Morning off the album Hold On Dodge, which is what my fifth and final pick is. I am unapologetically going to pick everything that the Menzingers put out because they are my favorite band, and I love this band so much. And
I figured that's why I had to stop the year thing.
Yeah, I did not pick them for the last episode, but everything, if we were going to continue with this pretty safely, probably all the way through Hello Exile and beyond. So I, much like you, this is an EP that came out. I think it's only 4 songs when it was released. So a pretty short listening in between albums. But this does have one of my favorite songs, which is Sunday Morning.
Oh, so good.
It is the song that got me into this band because just got into my head, and I could just like on repeat just have the words like, "Don't worry, brother, this will blow over."
Yep.
It's such a great line.
Instantly thought of
You
that
know.
as soon as you said it. It got stuck in my head right away.
Yeah, like it just like this EP. I think it's pretty simple. I don't know if this really blew up for the band compared to Chamberlain Waits, which they released I think not terribly long after this. But I think this kind of set them up for like, there's something special about this band. There's something worth listening to. They can kind of mix just this right level of rawness with honesty, with heartfelt lyrics, which like with and also like a band that you're like, there's something more to this band than just they're not just your local band. They're not just your local Scranton band. You can see that there's a drive or a desire in this band, and the way that they put songs together, the way that they just kind of like refine and polish things to the point of not from a production standpoint, but just on writing songs that are so well planned out and thought that they don't need anything else to them. And I think that's really where the Menzingers hit. Like every single one of their songs, or the ones that certainly stand out on any of their albums, are perfect in the sense of they've got just the right amount of like back and forth lyrics. They've got just the right length. They've got just the right amount of hooks in the chorus, and lyrics that are insightful, but not hard to understand. I don't know. That's I think the biggest draw of the Menzingers, that they just kind of do everything to the perfect point and leave it there. And this is where I think I start to see that all come together for them.
Yeah, I think I can't remember if I heard this first or the first album, but it would have been close to each other. Like I think I actually first listened to their cover of Straight to Hell, and I think that's what sold them on me. And then
that would definitely catch your ear. Yeah.
So, but I agree. Like this EP is so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did that. That was a good cover of MIA. Right?
Yeah. She's also a wonderful person.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, great. Like you said, as soon as you said, then the song title, it got right in my head. That "Don't Worry, Brother" part just came right to my mind.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Like, so good. And it's an EP I'll go back to on a regular basis too, just because of that, specifically because of that song. But the whole thing is really good. Like, and I did think it paved the way from there's a jump between the first album and that EP is like quite a bit in like song structure and how they took those elements you were talking about and made it better. And just it's good with the next few albums at least.
They're close to being there. I think they've been a band for 18 years now and still the same lineup, which is also crazy.
That is actually really crazy. Like not one person's quit.
Happen a lot. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's all the same.
Anyway, great pick. I wish I could say the same about my band, that they were still together. And before anyone can say anything, I can't believe Mike is talking about Dear Landlord again on this podcast. I'm gonna just stop you and say I don't really care. This album is one of my favorite punk albums. And it came out in 2009, so now you're going to hear a song from it. I think sometimes you just catch lightning in a bottle. And Dear Landlord's album, Dream Homes, is that. It's pop punk, horrorcore done at its best, catchy, filled with hooks, chances to sing along. And like you said, it just made you want to be in a band, want to see bands, want to get involved in that stuff again and be part of something. Yeah, I don't know what else you could want from an album. Other than maybe another Dear Landlord album. But that's not going to happen, and that's probably something we shouldn't talk about either. So, yeah.
We'll just leave it there. We won't say anything else.
Nope. Picking a song off this album is super tough. There's so many to pick from. Well, there's 14 of them, but I can't remember which ones we played before. I know we've played the High Fives one, and the cover of the Saltines song, Whiskey and Records. I don't know which one I'm just thinking. I didn't actually pick a song, so I'm trying to think. How about 3 to the Beach? It's a great song. You won't be disappointed. And if you are, what can I say? You got bad taste. You never saw them, right, at Fest or anything like that? They were already done, right?
No, I think they were done before for the 1 year that I did go to Fest. But yeah, again, like this is right back. This is everything we talked about. This is a band that's just like awesome to listen to, and like again, just sort of like makes you want to be in a band, makes you want to play music, makes you like, I guess in a weird way, like proud to listen to punk rock again, and it doesn't feel like
that's a good way to put it. It's like proud to want to be part of it again and part of a scene, and like I think these bands, and I don't even know if it was manufactured in my head, but it felt like these bands were, and maybe it's because of Fest and Punk News and Pop Punk Message Board and stuff, they felt like they were like a scene of themselves and like a tight family, almost like how the Fat Records bands were in the early 90s. You felt like they were like a family, and like these bands were helping each other tour, and maybe they weren't, maybe they were, I don't know. Like you said, they were wearing the same shirts from the other bands and stuff like that, and just felt like you want to be part of that, and the whole, like, that's something that always attracted me to punk in our local scene and stuff, like wanting to be part of something.
Great point, Mike. I think this is actually making me sort of like, I know we're kind of wrapping up the years, but I think we're leaving off on like a really nice the next few years. I think we'll wrap up, or I guess next year, like wrap up almost like, we're going to come full circle. We're going to come from like the bands that made it out of the basements and skate parks in the 90s to the bands that made that sound awesome again.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of that is a pretty big rise where we saw bands like blow up and do crazy big things in the punk rock genre. So love hearing all these bands. And I would say like as much if someone just was to randomly ask me like what are my favorite bands, it sort of still default to like Propagandhi and Rancid and NoFX. Because if I said like, I like Off With Their Heads and I like Iron Chic, they'd be like, the fuck are you talking about? But like this is almost like the years and the sort of subgenres of punk rock that I think I still listen to. Like this is what I kind of come back to the most.
Yeah, I would say that's a good point. I would say I still probably come back to these ones almost more than the 90s punk bands.
Yeah.
And maybe just because they're more relevant to this now, because there's still, some of these bands are still putting out albums and whatnot. Not that the fat ones are too, I guess. So I don't know. Good point. And I just knocked over the table. Awesome.
What an episode.
I wish I wasn't editing it. Anyway, great point, Justin.
So it sounds like it's about time to put a pin on this one. So on that note,
just a footnote: don't do an episode hopped up on cough medicine. Just remind me next time.
Hopped up on goofballs.
Yes. Just like Flanders.
With our fifth and final picks from the years 2008, 2009, I went with my favorite band, the Menzingers. The EP is Hold On Dodge, and the song is Sunday Morning.
Dear Landlord, the album's Dream Homes. The song is 3 to the Beach. Thanks for listening. Stay cool. Be excellent to each other.
Well, I'm ready. short-lived moments. We can't do anything, the fucking joke is we're winning when you blink. In short-lived moments, last you with victory. You think it's short-lived moments. We can't do anything. The fucking joke is we're winning when you blink. In short-lived moments, last you with victory. We're not that hopeless. We're not as fucked as you think it's short-lived moments. Last you with victory. The fucking joke is we're winning when you blink. In short-lived moments, last you with victory. Last you with victory.
You can talk whenever you want.
No, sorry, I'm panicking because I don't know if my album actually came out in the time.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll just wait.
Right, sorry.
West Coast Johnapalooza. Believe me, that van was rocking. So don't be rocking the sizzling sounds of 5 Spot.